Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Okay, good. All right. All right, let me just reload this. And, okay, the robotic sound is gone. Thank God. Okay, so, if my previous portion was completely disconnected now from, you know, what will be the VOD, we started still as Marianne. We were sleeping, we had an encounter in a dream with a, I guess, nude figure of our old friend, I guess, a lady friend, Lorraine, that we were interested in, but she committed suicide when we were unable to profess our love to her as, you know, a lesbian or bisexual at the very least. And Hannah, right, our lady person who bought this mansion we're in right now, that we're contracted to as an interior designer, and then we woke up and now we're here to continue on with our day. I'm sure everything will be fine. Alright. The place is already busy as soon as I get here. The foreman, one that I've recommended to the Wrights for his work ethic, is early as usual. Already he's instructing men here, and they're with the bigger loads. I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears and greets me with a smile.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Okay, good. Robotic people have been solved. Thank God. We had an encounter indeed, but it wasn't as fun as we hoped. We are being sure to pretend we didn't remember said dream, though. That is correct. Definitely wasn't as fun as we hoped.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful, and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest. He can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
Ew, why? She stops, looking up at the upper landing where Mr. Wright comes through with two other movers. And the mirror from the study. Uh-oh, that mirror? Oh, you know, I'm actually wondering if that's the mirror that we encountered as Mrs. Wright, that we thought was a painting that had like a painting of the ghost girl, but then at one point the ghost girl in the painting, the gross painting, disappeared, and we realized it was a mirror. Oh, I bet it's the same one.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass.
Yeah. Least of all you, Mr. Wright. Don't get hurt now. Don't get hurt.
Why are you even having it carried around?
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it.
Okay, yep, it must be the one and the same then.
If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there. Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room. Why don't you go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for now? We can figure out if we'll store it in the attic or somewhere else later, yes?
Oh, okay. So if it goes into the wine cellar, then I wonder if that's why the wine cellar is one of the main ghost encounter areas for Hannah here, then.
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes.
Okay.
Mush!
The movers bring down the mirror, one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells them to hurry. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. And I look away, not wishing to risk anything. If I see Lorraine's image in the mirror now, I wouldn't know what I'd do. I don't have the luxury of privacy right now, and I'm not going to break down in front of all these people. As soon as they go into the kitchen, I realize I'm holding my breath. I let out a sigh of relief when I think nobody is looking, and I go back to the task at hand. It'll be a terribly busy day, and there's no need for me to even think of anything else. I talk with the foreman, fill him in which room is which. It seems I'm doomed to not getting any significant work done without being interrupted when it comes to these particular clients, however.
Marianne, dear, have you had breakfast yet?
Man, I want some breakfast. I know it's 11:53 p.m. where I'm at right now, but I want some breakfast. Let's see. Mr. Wright couldn't get a thing done when there's a mirror around. Yes, exactly. And we know all about that. Curtis Craig was the same. Whenever there was a mirror, we had to interact with it. We had to look at ourselves. I mean, how else do you start a day without looking at your lovely self in the mirror? Yeah, I start each of my days without doing that at all.
Well, I do believe it would be considered brunch at this hour.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Wright.
I guess at my hour, it would we're closing in on midnight snack.
You must join me. Johans has already been breaking in the kitchen, as they say. I do not see the others settling down for a meal anytime soon. Someone might as well enjoy the food while it's hot. And that someone might as well be us.
I should say no. I really must say no. But the way she smiles at me makes it difficult to do so. Look at how ridiculous I'm being, acting like a silly, nervous schoolgirl with a crush. It's just a brunch, and who am I to say no to a client? It would be so impolite to do so. It's not like I'm going to agree because of anything other than propriety. I'm not agreeing just because she batted her pretty eyelashes at me.
If you insist.
It really isn't any of those. But it's something about her eyes, rather. She looks like she needs a good talk. A friend. And although I'm not supposed to be chummy with my client, there's no harm in pretending, right? We might get some epic pancakes again, hopefully. That would be nice. I mean, yeah, Isabella, yeah, that was still Marianne. We had the epic pancakes at the penthouse, yeah. Of course, I've been wrong on many occasions before. Maybe there is plenty harm in pretending that I care. Because pretending I care might actually lead to actually caring. Being alone in the same room as the missus leaves me reeling, as I find myself paying too much attention to her. It seems so borderline unhealthy how much I'm getting obsessed, even if it's just looking. And it's the little insignificant things that I noticed, like the way she plays with her hair, or how she smooths down her dress.
Up, higher, come on now!
Whiskey's annoying voice in the other room helps pull me back to the ground. I'm just looking, aren't I? I know that someone like her wouldn't even look at someone like me. Still, there's some time to turn around this bad decision.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright. But I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Sit. I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now.
Her concern is sweet, as is her smile. But I'm really not here for idle chit-chat, something I keep forgetting. We're both distracted when the food arrives, and it's enough for me to stay, at least until the meal's over. Oh, okay, we did see this meal previously in the game. We have like an egg on top of some kind of thing, some kind of orangey thing. It had a name, a weird name I have never heard of before. I guess we'll see if they mention it again. I don't know how to feel about that, but if these are little like cherry tomatoes, I'd probably enjoy those. The orange juice looks pretty good, and we got the coffee or tea right there. No more, no less, just to be polite. Thankfully, the conversation steers into a topic I'm comfortable with: work. This goes on for a bit, and I can't be more relieved. Most people don't understand calling me a workaholic, but I choose to work in a field I'm enthusiastic about. So what if my career is also a hobby?
But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box.
LOL, Marianne, or Marianne, as she calls us, needs to stop overthinking. Yeah, that's true. And, like, I understand her overthinking. I still don't know if it's, quote, bad to say in the closet, but she's still in the closet. As we saw towards the beginning of the last stream when we were in the bar with Marianne's friends, which is a shame, you know. Like, I understand. Well, I guess I understand just in general. But, you know, like, being older, and, you know, being an adult, just, you know, come out with it, I guess, which I'm, you know, I shouldn't be saying. I know it's more difficult than that. And especially with Hana here, we're interested in Hana, but Hana is married, so, you know, and also complicated with Hana and Ghost Girl and Lorraine also dead. I guess it's more complicated than just, hey, Marianne, come out.
Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Wait, doesn't she own the house? I'm pretty sure. I have no business with it, though. It's theirs to hash out. But apparently the momentary confusion has been visible on my face.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yes, what else is there to it? Without warning, this nice friendly chat devolved into something horrible. Something sad.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and...
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
About him not eating breakfast with you?
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
Despite my general dislike of the upper class, I sometimes feel pity for them. They may have all the money in the world where material things aren't a problem, but they don't even see what they've become, where they've ended up, or what they've done most of the time. They're shut in by their own trap, forced to play along with society's expectations, and do anything to stay where they are and to keep what they have. A world where even people feel or are treated like they are mere possessions. When someone is at the top, the only way for them to go is down. I've worked with many Hanas and Lukes and Whiskies, but I've never been one of them. I don't pretend to understand their world any deeper than that. I merely know what I've witnessed before. She looks lost, speechless at how she betrayed herself. My pity for the likes of her returns. Nothing but pity moves me as I speak before she can say anything else that might ruin or break her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles. This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs, if anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
Let's see. LOL and our two-headed naked chick calling us out for not being out. But like, just have breakfast and don't stress, girl. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I thought she bought it for him. Yeah, she did, but I guess he's still in control of everything. Are Luke and Whiskey not the same person? Who's Mr. Wright? What's his first name? Luke is Luke Wright, Mr. Wright. So Luke is Luke Wright. Whiskey is also Luke. So probably just a translation error, I guess, acting like it's a completely different person from Luke. I have no plans of speaking about anything I hear, especially if it's about their private affairs. But the way she looks at me, the way she just expects some sort of fallout because of this, makes my heart clench.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
When the last of the food and drink is gone, the door opens, as if on cue.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Oh, that would be Zachary.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties. I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
She stands up. Oh, yeah. Here's an example of bad translation. All right. I didn't see the two there. She stands to up and leave, and all I want to do is reassure her again, to prove that I am someone she can trust. So, when she looks back my way, I didn't fight the smile that found its way to my face. Is Whiskey his nickname? Sort of. Just with Marianne here, because we met him at a bar before we knew who these people were. And we almost slept with him, and Marianne just kind of called him Whiskey because that's what he was drinking. They did not share names with each other. I feel giddy. But the feeling dies down afterwards, as I sober up. Oh well, back to work. Soon enough, I find myself drawn to the kitchen where the Wright butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off, and none dares to question his proclamation either. Alright, yep, and we got the trapdoor down there. That's a Ghost City right down there.
My kitchen. No kinder allowed. Little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Good? Good.
I mean, it is a knife-wielding German standing here. I don't think anybody would be insane enough to refuse his request.
I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here.
You are allowed inside, McCulloch, but not the little ones.
A shake of my head and a roll of my eyes is all I give him. It's not like I'm going to be of any trouble to him. I just need to look around, get my bearings. The breakfast had been distraction enough. I don't even want to think about what we just talked about. I just need to get my head straight and get back to work. The movers work efficiently even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes standing in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to go help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so. Nevertheless, all is well as the butler gets to heating up the leftover Bubble and Squeak from breakfast and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Okay, yeah, Bubble and Squeak was that meal that we saw earlier in the game and that we had for our breakfast here is Marianne. Bubble and Squeak. I have no idea what that is, but it looks like it has an egg on top of it. Most likely simple in comparison to when he serves, to what he serves to the Wrights, but well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
It's an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts as they are preoccupy me.
If there are any left. One can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
I'm also American, and I do like a good fish and chips. I really do hate getting so up close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. It is obvious to me that I've gotten my priorities all wrong when I can't help but think about what I heard, what I learned about the right couple. These things have a way of creeping up on a person, thoughts, ideas, whether they are fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, crawl and writhe in a way that twists. I hear giggling, delighted and mocking. They creep up, and the sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arm causes me to freeze and hiss.
Don't!
I half expect her to be there.
Whoa, no need to scream bloody murder!
Oh, Mr. Wright, ghosting in on us here. Let's see. Bubble and Squeak is potato with cabbage all fried up together with an egg on top. But I think the egg on top is optional. Oh, okay. I'm a little weird when it comes to cabbage. Like, I like it in, as some things, but hate it as other things. Like, cabbage rolls, for example, are absolutely gross to me. Oh, alright, come on, pop filter. There we go. But I like, cabbage, I guess, is involved in, like, coleslaw, and I do like that. It's weird. But I do like potato. I do like me a good potato. I don't know, maybe a Bubble and Squeak I could handle. Maybe I would enjoy it.
It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared, though I don't believe in the likes of spooks. Being startled is not on the top of my list of things Marianne liked. Luckily for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gotten on friendly terms with something, like a rolling pin.
What was with that reaction? Were you really scared? Has Johann's been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people. Isn't that right, Brother Gurium?
The butler's expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion in his voice, or his face, and to begin with, since I started working for the Wrights, aside from vague amusement. There must have been something there, though, judging from Mr. Wright's own content look. The expression on Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them spoke, even as Johann's leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch.
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place.
Don't tell me you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children.
Hey Croy, how's it going today for you? Welcome.
Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up to that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get you.
That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking.
It would be a relief, actually, if those rumors of this place being haunted were true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly the symptoms of a healthy mind. Sure, it means there would be such things as ghouls and goblins, but at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking around.
If you could excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here?
Let's see. I've been building a bed, table, shelf all in one. Wow. How's that going? That sounds like quite a project there. Any of those separately would be enough of a project for me, for sure. But all in one, wow. That's a pretty big deal. Especially the bed part. Man. Also partly jumpy because you tried to pick me up in a bar and I just met your wife. Yeah, exactly. A simple enough question on the surface, yet I notice the man stiffen as the question leaves my mouth. Hey, Dog Nozzle, welcome. Yes, everybody welcome to the stream that is running much better right now. That I had to restart twice at the beginning. Let's see. The bed is store-bought, cheap one. I'm just integrating it into the build. Got it for free as we moved. I might make a new one myself. Building from reclaimed wood, mostly pallets. Oh, interesting. So yeah, that's even more of a project, I guess. Integrating it kind of like all together. Pretty cool.
It depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require an exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing.
Well, maybe that, but no strange people?
Aside from my usually weird butler and all the weird men traipsing around touching my things? No, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Johann's and he'll have security handle it. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts.
Or the booger man.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright. But no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project.
Oh, All right, hold on 1 second. My mouse is dying. Let me... All right. I have a mouse, that is wireless, but it also has a port for a connection. Let me just, plug this in here. Or, I guess I should say it's like a, rechargeable battery, not like a battery I could just pop in. Alright, come on, get in there. Alright.
No strange men or women
Okay, we're
lurking
good.
about then?
Let's see. I just made a spot for it under the table. Free moving can be removed just by pulling. Oh, interesting. A dead teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing isn't gonna go over well.
None that I know of. But I'll inform Johannes immediately if something comes up.
I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it. Immediately.
Oh, okay, yeah, Mint was our nickname during the bar sequence much earlier, before we knew who Mr. Wright was, and that he was married, because we were drinking mint juleps.
I think that goes without saying.
The concern, okay, yeah. Okay, this is a good example of the bad translation. The concern he have on the talk of security is quickly gone. Yeah. His arrogant, smug smirk returns, if a bit subdued. Whatever smarmy remark or innuendo he has at the ready never comes through, as voices from the dining hall ring out.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
I'll be lurking for now. Gotta keep working. Alright. Enjoy the work. I'm sure it's gonna be really great once you're done with it. That's gonna be pretty awesome for sure. Like, probably no need to mention your hallucinations just yet, though. Yeah, exactly.
Nah, I just freelance mostly for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least not all the time.
That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. Yep, it would be. That is Zachary. We already played through that segment. We are outside currently, probably right out this window. As always, Mrs. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion, no matter who she's talking with. It certainly puts people at ease around her. It sounds like she's working on the photographer too. Hearing them, though, seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood. At least, if his small scowl is anything to go by. Is he jealous? Let's see. What's the origin language of this game? Like, is it not British? They all sound British. This game is from the Philippines. We talked about this on Thursday evening session. It's pretty unusual. It is a Philippine game. However, this town, Luxbourne, and Anselm, where the mansion is, are in England. It is it is pretty unusual. Like Isabella Santos is of Philippine descent, like her family is from that area, but she also has like Spanish in her. So yeah. All right. Let's try to lighten the mood.
You're not gonna go out there and join Mrs. Wright?
That's how we lighten the mood?
You're starting to look strange. If you want your picture taken so badly, I'm sure the photographer would oblige.
What is it that you want to do then?
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
We need to get you away from the butler. You're starting to sound like him. No, I'm not joining Hana for an interior design magazine photo. What am I, a piece of furniture? Look, did a lot of you have anything else crucial to do today? Marianne.
There are still some little things to do. It isn't the end of the day yet.
Yes, but you're paid hourly, aren't you? Per day? Really, I don't care. You and the others can just take off for the day.
Why is he dismissing us early, all of a sudden? Is this about the possible security threat? Did my question get him all wary and paranoid that he would just send the workers and I away? I realize that threats are of actual concern to these rich and powerful people. I imagine, whether anyone wants to or not, they get a few enemies here and there. But I'm sure the foreman and his works can be trusted and are of no threat. Well, at least I trust the people I'm working with. I understand if he doesn't know them from a can of paint. Still, won't it be safer if there are people around who can watch their back?
You're the boss. My being paid by the day aside, I won't be held responsible for any significant delay caused by your decisions. I'll try to get around that, of course, but I'll just remind you of the fact.
Whatever, take forever with the house. I don't give a bloody damn. Don't you worry, you're still getting your money. Just sod off, go crawl around a pub and find yourself a good lay.
Paranoid or aggravated as he might be, this conversation certainly didn't have to warrant that sort of remark.
Maybe I will.
Let's see. Wow, that's cool. They're very progressive about sexuality. I didn't realize the Philippines were that open. I believe the Philippines were colonized by the Spanish, and they have a lot of Spanish names. I know a few people from the Philippines, and they all have Spanish-sounding names. Oh. That's what I was getting mixed up initially. I'm not sure if they changed things up in the English localization. Sod off. That's right, everybody. Sod off. Let's see. Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go while... Oh boy. Alright, let me try that again. Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go while under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun.
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Going to the foyer has me stumble upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence.
And where are you off to in a hurry, Miss McCulloch? The foreman is looking for you.
The Bratwurst wants us off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of... Oh, I don't know. He just wants us out of here.
I'll go and call a cab for you then. It would be for the best that you leave when he asks you to.
I don't doubt it. Those are luscious dreadlocks. All right. My ride back to the city doesn't take too long to get there. Or here, to get here. Granted, there are some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde mansion was. He tried to have us hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones or some other technobabble I didn't care about, and the butler didn't understand. But as soon as we told him it's the haunted mansion over in Anselm Village, he knew just the place. And finally headed over, albeit with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about that place giving him the willies. It gives me willies too. I would have loved to snap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that has somehow bothered me greatly, more than my exasperation over whiskey and this project, or wanting all of it to stop. There has been no Lorraine whispering over my ears today. Worse, I find myself searching for it. Searching for her. Damn new loose ends. Fucking bloody loose ends everywhere. I thought I've already moved past this years ago. And it does nothing to help curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. And where else do I go to drink? Tuesdays are for karaoke, and Wednesdays? Improv. Oh boy. Oh boy. What a weird thing to say to a taxi driver. Come to the haunted mansion, mate. Yeah, exactly. You know what mansion I'm talking about. Driver. Alright, usually it's these four guys who did hilarious games. The one with Irish drinking songs are always a crowd favorite. Though I love a good laugh, stand-up comedy isn't my thing. And without Cam or Haruna or any other distractions, I end up drinking a lot more this time. And when there's several bottles of beer in me, I get really, really embarrassing.
Hey! G! Psst! G! Come over here!
Hey, G! Yo, G! Get over here.
I need you for something!
Yeah, G. It's a good thing that the bartender is a nice fellow. I'd probably have been kicked out of other places by now, or worse. If push comes to shove, all he would do is give me an easy smile and a shake of his head, even when he's attending to other customers. Just like now.
Give me a moment, will ya? I gotta go check on her.
He's some Asian guy. And I'm pretty sure I've seen him here before a couple of times, although he never talks to anyone else except G. The girls used to be all over him too, but he always turned them away.
I'll be here. You go do that before she falls over.
There we are. Asian Joe. Let's see. So I came in late as our character Marianne. Yes, we are playing as Marianne still. We did that last stream yesterday. She has a dark past. She's pretty... A quote in the closet. In her past, there was a lady at boarding school. Another girl who she was interested in but could never admit to it, and when the other professed her love to her, she didn't, and then the other ended up killing herself, and now we're being haunted by her ghost, which is being manipulated by whatever that ghost lady is in the haunted mansion.
All right. What is it? Do you need someone to help you get home?
Bartender, pour the wine!
Hi, think that's enough alcohol for you, little missy. I'm cutting you off.
A whine comes from the back of my throat as he pulls my bottle away. A whine? Wine? Yes, I would like some more wine, please, bartender. I have no hope of getting them back once they're behind the counter. Even in my own drunken mind, I don't dare hop over it for them. Because what little sense I have left knows I'd sooner take a floor dive than succeed in wresting a bottle from a sober man. But that doesn't stop me from trying to reach out with my arms like a stupid idiot anyway. He smiles and shakes his head, just like I know he would, before going back to the other guy.
Right now, where were we? How you holding up, boy?
With no drink and no one to really chat with, I would have gone home or gone to sleep on the bar right there and then. But I'm not ready to stand up and try to trek back home yet.
Same old, same old. I'm still on the Luxborn firm case.
Those blokes they talk about being in dark suits, whisking people into the night or some shit and all that. Didn't the media call it some ridiculous name in the morning news?
What is it this time? Wait, don't answer that. They've called it a lot of things. As long as people don't start running around claiming they're the Illuminati. So, what have you got for me this time, G? Anything good?
Slow down there. You haven't even told me what sort of dealing dosh we got. Who are you looking into this time?
Their talk would have interested me, would have kept my attention if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I can barely give two fucks about the things going on around me. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is the pub. And it would have stayed that way, perhaps, even drowned if I didn't hear his name.
Luke Wright. You know the guy.
Oh shit. Luke Wright. That bastard. Asian Joe? LOL. Yeah, we are a hot mess for sure. I can understand it though. Even if I don't personally relate to it. Not still stuck in any quote closets myself. You know, I can't relate, but I can understand. I mean, her upbringing was apparently pretty religious, which is why she could never return the love to her high school lady who was interested in her, and I guess she's still pretty religious. Sadly, something she hasn't been able to break out of yet.
And don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know who he is.
That smug blonde who likes throwing round his money. He was just here a few days ago, as a matter of fact. Great tipper, if you think him just dumping a wad of cash on the counter after having too much whiskey counts as tipping. Why are you asking? He dirty?
You have no idea, G. He's probably the worst sort you can imagine.
And she carries intense guilt from her friend's suicide. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I didn't bring that up. Very intense guilt, for sure. Which I understand. Like, if I was in her situation, I think that would haunt the shit out of me forever. Like, I'd really have a hard time just being able to live the old life after that. That is pretty rough. Luke fucking Wright. Fucking whiskey. Even without him around, I'm still hearing about the guy. What the absolute fuck? Despite this, I find myself getting up and sauntering over to join them before I pipe up.
Is this smack talk about Luke fucking Wright I'm hearing, eh?
Private conversation here, lady.
There's only amusement on G's face. The Asian guy, he starts to look ticked off as hell.
Don't worry, Holmes, she's clean. And she might be able to help you with your, predicament.
Course. A drunk's just stumbled through here with what I need. Get real, G. No offense, lady, but you're smashed.
I know, right? Nothing beats being drunk after a hard day's work. Especially when you're working for Mr. Luke Wright.
So, she works for the guy? Doesn't that make her, I don't know, suspect?
See, have a little faith in me, why don't ya? I don't have much, and you might as well have something to go off. You're the one who was so desperate to come running to me for business.
Okay, Marianne, let's dial it back a few degrees, huh? Nope. Let's go even harder. Where's that option? I want to go harder.
Yoo-hoo! Still right here, fellas. 5'11". Can't miss me. Unlike Shorty over here. What's with that mad look? You want to dance, boy? You don't look like you can bust a groove. Maybe a leg, but with that fancy coat of yours.
To add insult to injury, I move directly behind him and use the top of his head as an armrest. But when he shakes me off, I plop into the seat right next to him.
Don't try me. You can hardly stay on your feet. We don't want to ruin your fancy coat, do we?
Ah, children, the both of ya. But you're still standing after all that, are ya? Matt, you see this giantess? She's a legendary regular here. Been drinking like there's no tomorrow. I'm a bit jealous. Can't do that anymore or my liver will give out on me. Good with the mic, too. Don't see you much recently, but I guess you're always busy, aren't you? You're some fancy designer or something, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I know you. You were at the open house for the mansion.
Yeah, that's right. Marianne McCulloch. I'm a famous interior designer extraordinaire. Ooh, that rhymes.
I can't even. I'm Marianne McCulloch. Oh my god, it's so good. That might be my favorite line of the entire game so far. We all know a Marianne. It literally doesn't rhyme. It's so good. This is the perfect line. This is it right here. Roll credits. We are done here.
Anyway, you guys were talking about that weenie Luke Wright, right?
Or something. Can't really talk about it. I don't even know if I can trust you, even if G said you're clean. But anything would be of help.
Well, I don't gossip about my clients, if that's all there is to this.
You wanted to gossip about him a few minutes ago, Marianne.
And that was the beer talking, not Marianne.
You won't mind if we ask the beer a few questions then?
Maybe. Depends on who's asking and what they're asking. But seriously, that guy is abso-fucking-lutely frustrating. One moment, he's an absolute dickhead. And then he's acting like an actual decent human being the next. I just can't figure him out. I can't imagine how that pretty wife of his can put up with him. If I were her, I'd dump his flat arse straight up.
And I'm not just saying that because I think Hana's pretty or anything. Luke is a catch, too. They both are. But I really cannot, for the love of all things holy, see how they even work out together.
So, Luke Wright, have you noticed anything strange about him while you were working with him? Anything peculiar? Of note?
You're the one being peachy right about now, Holmes. But nah, nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head. He's just like most rich, smarmy arseholes and then some.
A giggle bubbles up, and I press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut, tight, just because. Eventually cracking one eye open just in case they thought I fell asleep. I grin at Holmes.
So, Holmes, I'm guessing you're some private detective or something. Is it Hana? Did she pay you to look if he's been cheating or some such?
Hana's the wife, right? What about her? How is she?
How is she or how is she? Well and good. Definitely the nicer of the two and sexiest sin to boot. Not a private detective then. Are you from one of them tabloids wanting to know if the Luke Wright doesn't know how to put his pants on right? Pants. I'd take the pants off of...
Here we go. Slipping. I haven't been this drunk in such a long time. It's a miracle I've been coherent for as long as I've been right now.
I'm asking you if you've noticed any odd behavior from her.
Odd behavior? What? I wonder how she'd be drunk. I can just imagine her like the giggly sort. What do you think?
Oh god, to be Ash right now, just talking to this drunk Marianne, oh my god. Alright, as much as I don't like Ash, he's currently having the patience of a saint. We would take the pants off Hannah, given half the chance. Yeah, Marianne sure would.
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
What do you expect? She's smashed.
Why am I even doing this? This is getting me nowhere, G. She's not a reliable source. The chief, let alone the courts, aren't going to take the word of a drunk. This will be dismissed, and I might be in trouble if they try to argue that I coerced a testimony out of her. This is a fucking train wreck.
You're a fucking train wreck now, if you ask me. Maybe it's about time you apply the brakes and stop for a bit.
The wave of despair that comes over the both of them is palpable. If feelings had a taste, it'd be bitterer than the beer I'm full of. And it gets me thinking, though thinking doesn't get me far with too much shite in my system.
You know that's not an option. Thanks for being patient, McCullough. Good luck with your work on that mansion.
Speaking of that mansion, there's something going on in that place. Something. As och day! No wonder Mr. Wright likes it so much. It's as fishy as he is. Rotten bloke. Maybe that Santos girl is really onto something, eh? Suspicious shite, I'm telling you. Explains why she's so reluctant.
What do you mean that Santos girl is onto something?
Before I get another word out, there's hands on my shoulders, and everything starts to spin. I quickly slap his hands away the best I can, and send him the foulest look I can muster.
Take your hands off me, pipsqueak! I'm not a lady who's shaken or stirred unless you want me up-chucking on your pretty hair. But it's just like I said. Are you sure you aren't brain damaged or deaf?
I don't know. I think Marianne is the train wreck. Yeah, a little bit. For sure.
Santos girl from BRC showed us this creepy letter. You know, just like those spam stuff you get in your emails. And we thought it was some joke or that the girl was just a bit too green to handle a big sale like that. You should have seen the look on their faces when they saw it. Whiskey, that's Luke fucking Wright, you get me? And the missus didn't look too happy either. I should have taken a picture and posted it everywhere. When rich snobs give you that face, no wonder the Santos girl went all mental on us. Working with them does that, you know? I think I'm about to. I'm not mental yet, am I? Anyway, just like I said, in that man... Hey, you okay? Holmes? You're looking a bit shaky yourself there.
And he really is pale. Paler than before, at least. I can see the gears turning in his head on overtime. Suddenly, he shoves a card in my hand. Alright, we got a card. Luxbourne Police Department, Ashton Frey, Detective Inspector, CID. We got his desk phone number, his fax number, and his email address, ashtonfrey@luxborn.police.uk. So, anybody watching the stream, if you are having any ghostly situations going on, please email ashtonfrey@luxborn.police.uk. I'm sure they will take it under advisement. This dialogue gets better by the second. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying drunk Marianne here. On it, his name, Ashton Frey, and his number. But he has second thoughts, and he grabs it from me and slips it into my pocket.
You're cute, pretty boy. But I prefer blondies.
Well, you're not exactly my type either, lady. But listen to me. If something comes up, don't do anything rash. If you think you're in danger or if you see anything suspicious, call me and the authorities as soon as possible. You understand me? That's 99...
I know what the damn emergency number is.
Right, 999. Good. Anyway, I have to run.
999? Well, I guess that's easier to dial than my 911. Just one number 3 times. The guy is quick on his feet, already up and at him as soon as the numbers leave his lips. Watching him as he maneuvers through the crowd of other pub-goers is enough to tire me out. Fast as he can, he's at the door and throws us a smile, and that's all we get before he's gone, just like that.
Oi, what about your drink, boy? I'll go put it on your tab then.
Holmes boy always like that, G?
Pretty much. But what about you? I suppose I'll put your drinks on your tab too. Don't want you to spill your wallets when you look like you're close to spilling yourself.
Yeah, and if it's fine by you, I think I'll go take a bit of a cat nap here. Just for a sec or two.
Go right ahead. I'll wake you when I close up shop.
Let's call him. Let's see. So maybe the Marianne battering ram worked out, but still gotta get her to bed. Let's see. Our emergency number here is 111. Oh, interesting. Mumbling a sleepy thanks, I doze off on the spot, face pressed on the counter. Already, I dread the pain I'll have for sleeping in such a position. And also, probably the hangover. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. Oh, they return. They return.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite.
Gonna hit that old save right here.
Unless you ask, that is.
Not that I can get much sleep to begin with. October 28th, Friday. Do people ever really have the feeling that they're working on something they really enjoy, but still, it eventually tires them out? No. I've never had that experience because I usually work on something I don't enjoy, and it still tires me out. Because honestly, I've been feeling like this.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Ha ha ha. Save this one for later. That's right. Too hot for Twitch. Definitely. That's right, definitely.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Haha, I've never done a job I really enjoy. Yeah, same. It's all a ways to make money so we can live, right?
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on a client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation at Mr. Wright's antics and her, I've been burning the candle at both ends. I can't even close my eyes without seeing a dead girl's face. Dead girl. Dead. She's dead. I have to keep reminding myself of that, burying my feelings as deep as they're buried, as they buried her body, 6 feet under. I shouldn't waste so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've wasted so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead, when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad the living are usually as complicated, if not more, than ghosts of the past.
But don't you have a party?
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting, he's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
It's even more complicated. Oh my gosh, I keep doing that. Yeah, that... So, when this keeps popping up, all I'm doing is hitting the scroll up button on my mouse by accident, which causes this backlog thing to pop up, which is rather annoying. I don't like that. Let's see. It's even more complicated when the living in question is a pair of rich and famous socialites way past their honeymoon phase. And I've been somehow roped into being a relationship counselor.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband. But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Yes, we have actually been through this conversation before, from the perspective of Hana, actually.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's usually, like, we had an option, when we were playing as Hana, like, how to kind of, like, ask Marianne, and, okay, yeah, Marianne is saying, or at least going with what our option was, and, you know, saying what she ends up saying with that option. Nice, very nice.
But if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities. Without realizing it, I'm already pouring out a part of me that I had thought was long gone. I'd like to believe my words will be of some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are of some help to me, like some weight has been taken off my shoulders. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies.
You know, in the party segment, did we even see Marianne? Oh boy, she might not be long for the world.
Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I changed that.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't have just callously forgot about... Oh boy, let me try that once more. Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't just callously forget about them too. Saying that I have work left to do is an easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see someone so obsessed with her craft that she would easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wrights' grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working on their appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what is probably the most powerful couple in Luxborn. I make it into the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, this might be why I don't recall Marianne being at the party. Good time for a save. Let's see. Single people are the best at judging married folks. We are the best at relationship advice. Yeah, exactly. If we don't got it, we know what's up. No. Let's see. But when is a great task ever simple? Probably never. And this is a great task, isn't it? My greatest one yet, that is worthy of being called a quest. I'm not acting as Marianne McCullough, the professional interior designer, when I chose to lie about being too busy for a party. I'm Marianne McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma. Take that, you fucking ghosts. Take that. We're going to be rolling nat 20s here in our next encounter. Just thinking of it like that makes it a bit cheesy. Really? That's cheesy? You dork. You big dork. But it helps with the fear. It helps overcome the insane thought that I'm actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find my self-imagined grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought would be a valuable ally?
Schnell! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time!
The butler comes from the cellar and into the kitchen, tailed by a couple of others, people who I assume are most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow, seeing me just standing there by the hatch, by the trap door. That door right there. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out for being in the kitchen without permission. But then he motions for the others to disperse and familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing entry into the darkness beyond.
What are you doing here, Fraulein? This is not the place for guests or in an architect right now. I request you leave.
I was just looking around for any last-minute things, yes?
Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about.
You got this, Marianne. I'm not at all convinced that she's got this, but let's go with that for now. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think she's prepared for anything. Actually, it really seems like she's pretty close at letting the ghost take her over, just to get to be back with Lorraine again. I think that's where she's kind of at mentally.
Now is not the time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something.
The look he gives me as he says this is almost chilling. If life was a game book, he'd probably be the true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity.
Well, I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
Go outside, enjoy the party. Bask in the praise and adulation they will no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you.
Alright, you're being a little suspicious here, Johans.
Surely you've had enough of this stuffy old kitchen by now. You do not want to cause trouble.
We're just trying to do our work here, Johans. Has this just evolved into D&D? Yes, it has. D&D being... oh shit, what was it? It was like druids and something else. I don't think it was druids and dragons. It was druids and something. This universe's version of, D&D.
Both the Bratwurst and Hannah want this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and a disrespect to toe out of line and risk it being anything otherwise. And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failure that happens tonight.
His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out. Yeah, see, this is what makes me think Marianne isn't long for the world. Considering we didn't see her at the party, and now we're kind of seeking our dead high school friend out. Obviously being manipulated by the ghost girl in this mansion, the vengeful ghost girl. But...
Please, it's really important.
15 minutes. 9, 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself.
15 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes. No, I know the 9 isn't 9 minutes.
The Bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
I am enjoying Luke Wright being referred to as a Bratwurst, though. He steps aside begrudgingly. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. Alright, this is actually our first time into the wine cellar. As Hannah, earlier in the game, we got to a point where we opened the door and we were accosted by a ghost encounter. But we haven't actually been inside the wine cellar yet. So this is exciting. And possibly deadly. The cellar greets me ominously as I descend. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lining the wall compared to before, and knowing what might be waiting for me here makes things worse. Oh yeah, because Luke had the mirror put down here. Yeah, that's okay. That's why we wanted to get down here, to get back to the mirror. The mirror that had been removed from the study is my goal. I did not return to it after my initial discovery, but the thought of Lorraine, how much I want to see her again, even if it's just one more time, keeps coming back to mind. As I walk through the cellar, I have to stop when I feel something crunch beneath my feet. Whatever few bottles were left behind here are now nothing but glass under my feet. Perhaps dropped by one of the many chefs and bartenders the butler had escorted through here before. And it made a downright mess, with red slick pooling from the remnants of a good drink. With how dark the place is, a person with a dark enough imagination can easily mistake it for blood. I can't help but think it is, despite the easy logical explanation that had come to my mind, only because of what I'm about to do. It's merely a momentary distraction as I continue to the end of the cellar, where the mirror stands. Propped up on the far wall, it gleams innocently while pretending to be a simple, an ordinary mirror. How morbid to think that this thing can show a person their deepest, most desperate desires, and then twists it to be an image so dark. That's what I had seen that day. Though I heard Lorraine many times, I had only seen her here within its frame. I wonder if people have discovered it before. How many were wasted away in front of it, enamored, and how many were frightened away by what they saw. Yet, as I stand before it now, nothing. I can barely see my own reflection in this darkness.
How does this even work? Mirror, mirror on the wall? Something? Anything?
Nothing. Touching its surface doesn't make it magically activate or anything like that. There is no sudden surge of power, and I am not suddenly granted sight. It stays what it is, a mirror. Was Lorraine's appearance in the mirror all some sort of fever dream? Am I really that burdened with guilt and despair that my mind would eat itself in stress and have me hallucinate such things? Either way, just going here on some crazed obsession for a girl long gone must warrant me a trip to a doctor. Already, I feel ill. After a few more minutes, in the hopes that something would change, I turn around to leave. I can just go back upstairs, like nothing ever happened, perhaps drop by the party for some hors d'oeuvres, then go home and collect myself. Besides, Mrs. Wright is expecting me, and I'm...
Going to leave me again then, are you?
I stop in my tracks, but I don't turn back. As much as it pains me, I don't look back. If I'm just hearing her again, desperately delusional, and I look back to see nothing, I don't want to give myself false hope. But when I feel fingers around my wrist pull at me, I look back in shock. My first thought is, how in God's name is this possible? And the second is, Lorraine. Her hands are cold.
Are you that mad at me that you're just going to ignore me, Marianne?
I don't know what to say, and I can only stare at her in wonder. She stands there in the mirror with only her arm extended outward for my sake. I look at the hand still holding my wrist, and when she sees me looking at it, she moves it so that our hands are intertwined, fingers weave together. Seeing her there and feeling her touch meant I'm not crazy, though however impossible and unexplainable this all is to me right now. It just takes my breath away. Pulling her out from there is tempting. I can imagine doing so with ease. We can be together again, Lorraine and Marianne, like nothing had ever happened. But that would all be a great big lie, wouldn't it?
What? Pack out your tongue? Don't just look at me like that. Say something.
Even if this were some magic portal and could bring back the dead, that doesn't erase anything. Just looking at her, still a young teenager, while I'm already a grown woman, it serves no other reason than to break the illusion that blinds me. I've seen her twice now, always behind the mirror. If this is real, if this isn't some delusion, then why can she only exist behind the glass?
Yeah. You have no idea how happy I am to see you. It's been so long.
You don't look happy.
I really am happy. But at the same time, I can't help but think about what happened to you.
And what does that mean? What are you saying?
She gives me this peculiar look. And before my eyes, she moves to step out of the mirror. In turn, I wrench my hand from her and take a step back, almost as if I'm afraid.
I don't know how this is possible. But whatever this is, it isn't real. You can't be real.
I'm right here, aren't I? What other proof do you need?
No. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. But even with all that, you can't be real. You just can't. I saw your body. I helped bury you. You're dead.
A deep hurt crosses her face, and it just breaks my heart in two, seeing her wear that expression.
Burying me wasn't the only thing you did. Don't you dare lie! But I'm going to be the bigger woman, aren't I? Let bygones be bygones. I'll forgive you, as long as you stay with me, Marianne. That's why you came down here, right? To find me?
That was the plan. I came down here looking for her, for closure. But this isn't closure. This is something else entirely. I didn't think I would be forced to make such a choice. Do I leave? Or do I stay? When the love of your life is a teenager and you can't go there. Exactly. Nice, Nicola. Alright, so we can move on or we can stay. I don't know, I kind of feel like Marianne would probably end up staying. She's kind of not doing well with things. But I don't remember if we can keep Marianne alive. Let's try to move on. Closure. That's all I came here for. Whatever this is, it might as well be just a devil's trick. And I might as well make some use of it, right? I say nothing at first for fear of angering whatever phantom this is. I take Lorraine's hand and bring it up to my lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. She takes it as some sort of invitation to pull me along, to step back into the mirror until only her arm is extended again.
I should have been more honest back then, both to you and myself.
Move on to Hana, that's right. Let us murder Luke Wright, get him out of the picture, and we'll be good. We'll be good.
I know it's too late. I'm sorry. But
the thought of being with the dead did not agree with me. Not one bit.
I can't stay with you.
So what? You're going to leave me for some old trophy wife?
Hell yeah, we are.
That's it, isn't it? You're going to leave poor Amy Lorraine and go after the next rich, pretty blonde that you see.
Damn right. This is a mistake.
All these years, guilt has been my driving force. I felt so guilty for what I did, what I didn't do.
She thinks she can guilt me into being complacent, but she realizes otherwise as I pull my hand from her. And, going by the look of anger on her face, an anger that runs cold, she did not like the fact that I'm not some puppet on a string. Had she chosen her words carefully, I would have accepted whatever punishment Lorraine chose for me. Guilt had ran my life, and it might have very well ended it, because I deserved it.
But what I did to me. The blood in my hands is mine, not yours.
Whoever or whatever the shadow is, my gut tells me she's not Lorraine. Yet, I keep talking as if she is.
I broke your heart, not your neck.
Don't you dare deny it! It was your fault!
Because I loved you more than I dared to admit? Yes, that was my fault. But I never meant to hurt you like that.
Despite my words, no matter how sincere they are, she appears angry. Enraged, in fact. It's been years since I last saw that face, and even now the memory of it is still etched deeply in my mind. The hurt, the tears, and the hate spilling from her eyes that day, the moment I rejected her. Rejected myself for who I am. And she definitely will hate what I am about to say next. To my left, a wine rack. And from there I take a bottle and pray to all the saints I can remember. For all my sins. For every hurtful word I've uttered. For what I have driven her to do that day. What I forced her into.
What are you doing?
I do it without thinking twice. Quickly, before I can hesitate, I grab a bottle and send it straight towards the mirror. Shards of the bottle and the mirror are sent flying everywhere as Lorraine's screams echo in the cellar. Bitter. Searing. Like every wounding accusation she hurled at me. They've never left me. I doubt they ever will. But with this, I can move away from them, from her, live my life as I should, free from the burden. Her burden. Because the Lorraine I know, the real one, the person I loved, will never want me carrying this to my death. As the screaming dies down, I can't help but mutter weakly.
It's done. It's done.
Let's see. So there may be many factors leading to Elle's death, and I don't think we are the reason she did it. Not the full reason. We are just consumed by guilt, and the way we view the ghostly apparition is just a reflection of our guilt. Back in the high school days, you know, she professed her love to us, and we couldn't return it because of our, you know, religious upbringing and thinking, you know, that's a sin and everything, not understanding, you know, Marianne not understanding who she was and is. You know, I guess we technically don't know if anything else was involved in Lorraine's suicide. But, you know, the fact that it happened pretty much right after being rejected by Marianne. Of course, you know, there's going to be this guilt. For sure. And I would be so in Marianne's shoes right here. I'd be completely, you know, drunk at the bar like she is. Just trying to, you know, forget. Like, it would be such a thing that would totally haunt me in real life also. I get it. I totally get it. There are accusations against ourselves. The ghost is just capitalizing on that. Yep, yeah, this is totally the ghost, you know. This is not Lorraine at all, for sure.
Oh, Lorraine! Forgive me, Lorraine.
I take some time to compose myself, breathing in and out, stamping down on the tremors still racking my hands, straightening out my jacket and fixing my hair. All a weak attempt at returning myself to someone resembling my normal self. This would probably be easier to do so with a mirror, but I likely won't be able to stand looking at one for a long time.
Well now, I should probably go back up there. Party to attend, rich socialites to do business with, and food to eat. Mrs. Wright will be happy if I make some time for it anyway.
Yet, one last time, to the shattered glass beneath my feet.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. May you see God's light on the path.
Turning around to leave, and for good this time, the uneasy smile on my face falls as I see Lorraine, whole and well.
Come on, Mac. You really didn't think it would be that easy, did you? You get bonus points for trying. But you should know innate charisma is not enough to turn undead.
She advances towards me, backs me against the wall. I can't even reach for another wine bottle without putting myself within her reach. Despite my earlier bravado, I didn't think she'd be able to exist at all without the mirror. Can you blame me, though? It's not like I'm an expert on the supernatural.
That's not... You shouldn't be...
What? After the mirror? Did you think just moving on will erase what you did to me? You're nothing but a murderer, Marianne! A murderer!
Stay back! You're not real! Leave me alone! Stop! I'm trying to move on with my life, so why won't you let me? Please! Just get out of my head and leave me be!
I try to find an exit when there's a click. The next thing I know, I'm falling back into darkness. I fall on my back and a door slams shut behind me. In a daze, I look around warily and find myself in another room entirely. On the other side of the wall, some sort of secret passage, perhaps, an underground tunnel that has me wary and frightened. It also proves that the oddities in the mansion's floor plans are a lot more than just little discrepancies. Alright, we got a ... I am going to take a super quick break here. I just want to get a refill on my Coke Zero. So I will just be, I'll be back in like, hopefully less than like a minute. The refrigerator is only a few steps away from me in my tiny apartment, so I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We gotta see what happens to Marianne. Alrighty, and I'm back. Alright, I got my Coke here, and we are ready to go. Let's see. For sure the guilt would kill you, even if it was just a part of it. I feel like Marianne is giving herself a bit of a break here, which is nice. If you break a mirror, it's 7 years of bad luck, and here's yours. Yeah, we're getting all 7 years right at once, I suppose. I expect Lorraine to jump out at me from the darkness at any time. A breeze blowing through the tunnel has me relieved, though, at the idea that there is still a way to escape, should that happen. That is way better than being trapped underground with. Only God knows what that was. A funny thought comes to mind as I start walking to where the exit might be. I think about how Mrs. Wright would be so disappointed if I didn't show up to the party. I imagine how furious Mr. Wright would be for breaking one of his wine bottles. Even Johann's reaction comes to mind, though I don't really know with that guy. One thing's for sure, that I would be calling Cam and Haruna for a drink as soon as I get out of here. Oh, for sure. I get that for sure. I probably would too. Oh. Ghostly ... That noise has me wary. A ghastly thing. A corpse of a woman leans on the wall. Her arms and limbs, almost every inch of her lithe body, is peppered with wounds and rotting flesh. And it is then that the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here? Oh, that smell! Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
I flinch as the thing twitches. And as soon as it opens its eyes and looks at me with a smile, there's nothing on my mind but horror. I break into a run. I try to keep on running no matter how much my legs and feet scream at me to stop. I keep going even when I look back and see nothing of her anymore, because I can still hear her. The scampering of her feet, the words she tries to form with her bloodied mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other as she moves closer and closer to me.
How long are these damn tunnels?
Marianne's main worry about this thing is that it's gross. Exactly. Man, how long has this gross thing been here hanging out by the wall? There's a split second where I know that thing is right behind me. A strange sensation creeping over my limbs when her presence looms over me. And then, suddenly, I can't even do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Still, I struggle up until I'm thrown to the side like some ragdoll. I hit the ground on my side, and the musty smell of old hay that reaches me is my only indication that I'm still alive.
Please don't hurt me!
My body hurts, and I keep my eyes shut tight, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne? Are you really afraid of little old me?
There's only dread, seeing how she's followed me even here. She looms over me, backs me further into the cell that I was thrown into.
Please, it's so cold. I don't want to be alone, Marianne.
This game's making me save scum.
Why won't you stay with me? Why would you leave me? Why?
What are you?
Lorraine turns and shifts into that thing from before. There she is. There's our ghost girlfriend right there. Just hanging out. She looks very happy. She just wants a friend. No reason Marianne can't be that friend. I'm no runner. I'd be done for by now. Yeah, probably the same. She seems cool. For sure. Exactly. And with that same gruesome grin, it takes a step forward towards the cell. Towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door to the cell slams shut, and it just stands there, staring. Shouts for help ring out in the tunnels, but none of them are coming from me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. Alright, you know what I'm thinking now? Like, what is this area? Like this mansion has like a dungeon? And remember when Johans was being a little suspicious earlier? Like, oh, don't go down there. What's going on here? Why are you so obsessed with me? So then, where?
Help me! Help me! Oh, help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl? Yeah, but are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here. Don't worry, the owners of this place haven't been here in a long time. Look at this thing, though! It has writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea. Oh man, that's genius!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's Juarez kid would panic.
Guys? What? Spit it out!
There, in the corner of the cell, a digital camera comes flickering to life, and a video has played on the screen. It was hard to even consider paying attention to it when my life is on the line. But when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers mocking shouts of help me filled the cell, I just had to watch. And what I had seen, students, judging by their St. Goretti uniforms, they were holding...
That letter!
And that thing, the woman, she... All right, chapter Rebecca. All right, so I guess Marianne is still technically alive. I feel like when I played this for the first time years ago, I think I ended up going like into the mirror, and then Marianne was never to be seen from again. I feel like that's what I did. But yeah, I guess we're still technically alive as Marianne. Technically. But now we're playing as Rebecca. I guess out of all like the characters, the only ones we have left that we haven't played as would be, Luke Wright and then Ashton Frey. But right now we got Rebecca. Technically alive, the best kind of alive. Yes, exactly. That is my current kind of alive. I'm technically. So are we Rebecca now? Yes, we are. We are now Rebecca. And if this is like all the previous times we jump to a new character, we are going to be at the very beginning of the game, building up to present times, basically building up to the housewarming party. So right now, I'm assuming we're before Isabella discovers the letter. This is how it begins, or so they say. With the gentle wind drifting through wide-open windows, muffled laughters and footsteps fading behind empty hallways, and the light kiss of the afternoon sun. Soon there will be a call, a crossing of thresholds into the unknown. Maybe we are off to some grand adventure, or diving into another gripping mystery. One can't really tell. For all I know, a hero might even come to sweep me off my feet if I'm lucky.
That's not exactly a bad thing when you think about it.
But this is far from one, isn't it? A riveting tale, that is. The mild breeze, the faint murmurs, the warm rays painting every nook and cranny a fiery hue, they are all as real as they can get. As much as I want to write a little tale out of this, I'm far from someone who can. Fleeting fancies, that's what these are, merely passing thoughts to occupy an idle mind while waiting for another busy workday to end. Then again, maybe in another life, I am one. Who knows? But at present, what I have and what I've chosen to be, well...
I won't last years here if I find teaching rowdy adolescents a tedious job, will I?
Admittedly, the whole affair isn't exactly as grand or exciting as I imagined as a child. If I weren't so stubborn and too passionate about the whole idea, I probably would have quit a long time ago. But it's always the kids that make it worthwhile, isn't it? As if in agreement, as soon as my pen slides into a neat circle against the papers I'm grading, the final bell rings. Like a dam that has opened, students begin piling out into the hallway soon after. For a short minute, I let the noise fill my ears, let my mind wander to a place far removed from all the hubbub. Solitary moments like this have come few and far between lately. Even my own home hasn't been as quiet as I usually prefer. Though, in hindsight, the entire place hasn't been the same either since Isabella moved in next door. And if her fussing over a minor cold last week tells anything, yes, remember at the very beginning of the game when Isabella was concerned about Rebecca's minor cold? Boy, things were just a lot easier back then before we came across that chain letter. Let's see. Okay, so on the last stream I pointed out that Isabella was the name of the Spanish monarch around the time that Spain colonized the Philippines. Still wondering if there's something to that, or if I just have Wikipedia brain. It might be. I mean, Isabella Santos is her full name. Maybe it's a thing. Like, I feel Gosh, I really don't want to need to replay this game already, but I feel like there is some Spanish ancestry in Isabella. I feel like that was something that came up. But I don't know. Who knows? I'm definitely We'll defer to Wikipedia brain for now. I'm definitely not up on my Philippine history at all. At the memory, my eyes automatically shift over to the bottle sitting at the edge of my desk. A chuckle escapes from me as I reach for it.
A little ball of energy and enthusiasm. That's a big baby.
Mother Hen, she calls me, and then says and does the same thing right after. It's not that I'm unused to being on the receiving end of other people's worries, or I feel any sort of apprehension over her fretting. If I am to be completely honest, it's actually amusing how someone can be childlike one minute, then act like a responsible adult the next. But there's a dissonance there, both in her actions and words. Although she may not look like it, may not say anything, may not lose her cheer one way or another, I know these troubles have weighed down on her lately. No need to get sidetracked by it, it's probably just a common name there. But we must get sidetracked. Let's turn this into a Google stream. No, we're not gonna do that. Haha, remember pre-2020 when no one cared about having a cold? Yeah, now having a cold is an emergency. I know, right? It was just such a thing, like, oh god, this bullshit cold. Oh, it's gonna be hell at work. I kind of feel like garbage. But now it's like, oh my god, do I have this thing that's gonna just spread to everybody if I go to work? You know, like in a way that we didn't care, you know, when we had a cold. We ended up going to work anyways because we all need that money and the world sucks like that. Everyone's concern is not for your health, but for their own. Yeah. Her face says it all. That big numpty? Alright. If she thinks I won't notice, she's got another thing coming for her. She's got another thing coming. That's how she's always been. I do understand that part, loud and clear. It's just that... Oh, held a message for a reason. Bullying. Dog nozzle. You're bullying. There we go. Yeah, I don't really like when they make me say these words that I've never heard before in this game. I have no idea if it's really inappropriate for me to be saying. So, Yeah, that's one I've never heard of. Numpty is kind of like idiot or dummy. Oh, okay, alright. Not too bad then, not too bad. Let's see, I really rather not pass another burden onto her.
Or become one myself.
I have no idea either, honestly. Well, it was blocked. I allowed it to go through on Twitch, but Twitch auto-blocked Numpty for bullying. So, interesting. Twitch apparently knows more than any of us here, aside from Nicola, of course. You clearly know. Aren't I supposed to be the one taking care of them? Though I guess that's simply one of those things people eventually grow away from once you've all started leading different lives. Not completely different, I hope. Somehow that thought makes me feel uneasy. Thankfully, before stranger ideas can take root in my head, a faint buzzing comes from my bag, cutting through the rest of my thoughts. Let's see, I think in this context she means it's like that silly sausage rather than being mean, but yumpty can be more offensive. Okay. Alright, yeah, I think she was being more fun and, you know, friendly, friendshipy, with that word. But yeah, oh, it can be more offensive. Interesting. Twitch auto-blocks so inconsistently. Yeah, we know most of the British slang over here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm thank you once again, Nicola, for being watching the stream with these crazy words. You were definitely missed on previous episodes where I was just saying or attempting to say all kinds of weird nonsense that probably should have gotten me banned from Twitch. Who knows? Who knows what any of it was or what any of it meant, but... A small frown forms on my lips when the screen lights up and an unknown number flashes. For a long second, my thumb hovers over the answer button. Even the voice that responds once I do accept the call is wholly unfamiliar.
Hello?
Ah, goodness. Finally, it connects. Hello? Is this Miss Gales? Rebecca Gales?
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Oh, sorry. Rose Cooper, Briar Realty Corporation.
Yes, okay, Rose Cooper, was, Isabella's coworker. I guess probably a little higher up than Isabella, because it seemed like she had a little more of a slight, you know, boss kind of feel to her, compared to Isabella, who, was one of the mysterious murders that happened. She ended up dying and was one of those crime scenes with like the bloody help me written all over the walls in these string of unsolved murders that are going around Luxbourne. I'll add translator to my key rolls. Yes, exactly. She let this call ring for so long, who's not given up yet? Is Rose the green-haired chick? Yes. We have not seen her in a long time, because she is dead.
Briar Realty?
My frown deepens as I straighten from my chair. Something in her tone, despite sounding remarkably friendly and light, doesn't sit quite well with me. The rigid pause that follows doesn't help ease the tension that has suddenly descended either.
Miss Cooper?
Yes. Things are a bit busy on my end. I apologize. I'm not certain if Isabella has mentioned anything before, but we're working together on a property at the moment, and...
Oh, okay. So, yeah, this must take place right after Isabella had her first ghost encounter and found the cursed chain letter, and then ran out and then kind of collapsed and fainted in the foyer of the mansion because Rose ended up calling Rebecca here. We found out a little later.
The Armengard mansion, yes. She said something about that earlier. Is there a problem?
This is about Isabella, actually.
She wastes no time relaying everything. The details she provided are admittedly a bit vague, but enough for me to get a gist of what happened. It isn't the bad sort I'm expecting, though still worrying, especially with the words panic attack and pale looking a bit sickly woven together in one foreboding sentence. But as quickly as it surfaces, I stomp down on the urge to demand answers, right there and then. Now isn't the proper time for useless questions. I'll find out soon enough, regardless. To Miss Cooper's credit, she neither hesitates nor falters all throughout. There's some sort of comfort in knowing Isabella has someone like her to guide her, though not as much as I would have liked. After all, this is Isabella we're talking about. What are the chances she said a bunch of excuses so she won't get sent home? High. Very high. Oh, she is gonna hear it this time.
You were listed as one of her emergency contacts, so I thought it'd be best you know about this.
How is she? Is she doing okay?
I had her take a break for now, but honestly, I'd feel better if someone were to pick her up and take her home for some rest. Anthem's a fair distance from Luxborn. I really don't want her going off on her own. I'd do it myself, but you know how it is today. Big day. People everywhere until the open house ends. I'm really sorry to ask this of you, Miss Gales. I know you're busy.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just about to leave from work. I hope to leave early today anyway. A few minutes ahead wouldn't hurt. I can be there in a few, 30, 40 minutes tops. Is that all right?
More than fine, Miss Gales, thank you. We're supposed to be here until... Oh, excuse me. One moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
The faint hum of conversation echoes from her end. It sounds as though the place is buzzing with more people than you'll expect from a regular open house. I was skeptical at first. The house is old, not to mention its inconvenient location in Luxborn's outskirts. Who wants to live in a place almost an hour's drive away from the comforts of a city? But from what little I can hear, it appears Isabella has every right to be optimistic about the sale. If I didn't understand why she was so adamant refusing my offer of help earlier, I think I do now. To some degree.
We'll be resuming the tour soon. Yes, thank you. Sorry about that. I really need to get this thing going. Lord knows how I'll salvage the situation here. It shouldn't be anything complicated, but still, clients. They can be difficult when they want to be. Anyway, just look for me when you get here, alright? I shouldn't be too hard to miss.
No problem. Thanks for letting me know about this. Just make sure Isabella stays put, please. Heaven knows how stubborn that girl can be.
Oh, believe me, I know. Don't worry about it. I'll have a few of our staff keep an eye on her for me until you get here.
That's all I'm asking. I appreciate it.
The whole thing ends on a surprisingly pleasant note. If only the same can be said for the news she brought. I allow a brief minute to pass to ease whatever tension has lashed itself firmly to my nerves. But no matter how much I wish for it, my mind stubbornly refuses to do so. My hands are unsteady against the papers I pretend to arrange after. Lucid thoughts, every single ounce of it grimmer than the other, grows with each passing second I linger. Something about the whole thing, along with the sudden unease and nagging worry, screams, off. Wrong. This isn't the riveting tale I've hoped to step into today. Even on a rush, getting everything in order before leaving takes nearly a good quarter hour. By the time I make it out of the classroom, the commotion has already died down, dwindling to mere echoes and distant laughters. From the nearby room, melodies from a rehearsing band drift freely into the air, filling the almost empty hallways with their warm, lively tunes. Any other day, I'll stop, bask in the music, and enjoy what little peace it brings. Not today, however. My steps are brisk and sure as I march to Edward Hall's exit. The sooner I confirm Isabella's okay, the sooner I can shake off this niggling feeling. For one reason or another, that single call, of all possible things, has thrown everything off kilter. I'd rather this be over with as quickly as possible. So much that I nearly barrel over a student in my haste. Though perhaps it's really the other way around. When I look down, a set of eyes, bright and hopeful, stare back at me. Let's see, a giant, allegedly haunted mansion, though. Why wouldn't you go there and have a poke about? Exactly. I'd love to check out a haunted mansion in real life. That'd be such a blast. I don't think in real life I quite believe in ghosts, even though I know when I was younger I've had a few of those situations I think a lot of us as kids have had that might be unexplainable, but if you really think about it, you could probably explain rationally. But regardless, I still think it's thrilling. I love horror movies about hauntings. Love them quite a bit. And I haven't been to too many supposedly real-life haunted places, but I've been to a couple. I know there was a lodge some years ago that was supposedly haunted here in Ohio that I visited. And, it's an actual place, has like a big campground and everything. Big place, and, you can rent a room there and everything, so it's not like an abandoned place. And I remember on the second floor, I didn't see anything, but it definitely had those vibes of something not feeling right, something, just being creepy. It just felt different. Like, I think I brought this up before, but like, kind of like, I've never been to like Gettysburg, but everything I've always heard from people who've been there is that like when you're on like the battlefield or whatever, it just feels different. There's like a different air about it that's really creepy. I thought we were in our bedroom before. I love reading those posts online where they compile freaky shit kids say or situations that recount, and you're like, all children are demons. Yes, like this kid here, Kylie. We met Kylie as Zachary towards the end of Zachary's chapter. All right, when I look down, a set of eyes, bright and hopeful, stare back at me. Let's see, I haven't done any ghost stuff, but I hate cemeteries. My childhood home, we actually had a cemetery next door, and I remember, when I would have like a birthday party, at one point I would have like, kind of like sleepover birthday parties or whatever. You hang out, sleep over, play video games or whatever. But we'd always go to the cemetery next door and invite the ghosts to come over to the party, which was always fun. As far as I know, they never showed up, but, who knows? I hate the feeling in cemeteries ever since I was a kid, and Dad took me to see his friend, and I hated every second of the place. Next door? A little different than like the movie House by the Cemetery. I guess it technically wasn't next door. There was kind of a small empty lot between us and the cemetery. But, like, if you imagine that as kind of like an extended yard, the county owned that, and, you know, nothing was ever done. So it was kind of like an extended yard. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, it was right next door. And like a kind of old cemetery, too. There were some pretty old, like, you know, going back to like the 1800s and whatnot. Her arms are wrapped around my waist like a vice, and at my attention a grin spreads over her face.
Buenas tardes, Miss Pink. Hello, Kylie. You know, you aren't supposed to run into people like that. Sorry, Miss Pink.
I like the bold choice of blue hair on a 6-year-old. Yeah. She loosens her hold on me, but not a hint of guilt or regret appears on her. If anything, it seems the remark only amused her. A smile appears on my face before I can help it, matching the one on her own.
Just remember not to do it again, all right? You could get hurt.
You sound like my mama when she's scolding Rowan, Miss Pink.
Yes, okay, so Rowan we've heard in Zachary's chapter, when we had our encounter with Kylie in the park. Rowan would be her older brother. However, we just heard Rowan a little bit ago, if we recall that video footage that we saw when we were trapped in the cell as Marianne. So, I think something's going on here. Something's going on.
I'm sure your mama only means well. I know she'll be worried sick if one of you were to get hurt. Where's your brother anyway? Aren't you two supposed to be heading home now?
Rowan said he's got some stuff he needs to do before we go.
Yeah, breaking into haunted mansions again?
I think he's taking too long. But he promised to buy me jelly babies today if I keep what he's doing a secret from Mama and Papa.
Jelly babies.
Any chance you'll tell Miss Pink about it?
She shakes her head, both her hands going to her mouth, as if to keep a precious secret from spilling out.
I made a promise. He said it's for Tia Luke.
Oh, something like a gift?
Luke? Tio Luke? Luke Wright?
Like a deal. Tio promised to take him somewhere cool when he's old enough. Rowan's gonna prove he's a grown-up.
Laughter slips free from my lips. The teacher in me wants to give whoever this Tio is a reprimand for bringing about this kind of behavior in children. But if both Suarez kids are so fond of him, then there shouldn't be anything to worry about, yes? At any rate, there's nothing but well-behaved, both Kylie and her brother. Rowan, the eldest, may have an occasional odd streak in and out of class, but their parents taught them well. I see no other reason to cast any suspicion on bad behavior on them.
As long as it isn't anything dangerous, all right?
She will tell you if you give her more jelly babies. I want some jelly babies. What are jelly babies?
It's not. Cross my heart. My drawings are a lot prettier than what he's doing anyway. Tio said so. Do you want to see? I drew one earlier at class.
Is that why you're here?
Not really. I was gonna show it to my friend first. But since it's you, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you see it before she does.
Oh no. I can't stay right now, Kylie.
Her face falls immediately after the words are out. A small part of me feels responsible for that crestfallen look. But as much as I want to stay a little longer, there's another place I need to be at right now. And frankly, another child to look after. Taking both of her hands, I kneel in front of her and muster the most rueful smile I can give. At her age, I'm quite sure she already understands what I'm about to say before they're even out. But remarkably, she doesn't look away or pout as I'm expecting her to.
I'm sorry. You know what? Rowan has a class with me on Monday around this time. Why don't you drop by again next week, after class? I'll even make sure to wait for you.
No, 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 that's a giant red flag. Tio is bad. Let's see. Oh, let's see. They are candy like gummy bears, but like gummy babies. I like gummy bears quite a bit. Gummy bears are probably my favorite candy, actually. Oh man. But they're like gummy babies. Weird.
It's just that I absolutely must leave now. My friend had an accident earlier, and I'm the only one she has here.
What about her mama and papa?
Her family lives really far from here, I'm afraid. Do you remember where Asia is? The southeast part? That's where they are.
Her eyes immediately light up at my question. Just like that, I know I've earned the girl's forgiveness.
Oh, just like Takako.
Who?
My friend. She said she used to live there, only just a little higher than southeast. But she hasn't come home in a long time, so she doesn't remember much about it anymore. Melody says it's weird I talked to her, but I think she's just shy. They could be good friends too! Don't you think so, Miss Pink?
Maybe if you introduce them properly, they will be.
That's what I think.
I don't know. Who's this Takako? It rhymes with Sadako, the girl from Ringu. I don't trust this Takako.
Takako's just lonely. If she makes more friends, she won't be anymore. Is your friend like that too?
A little, possibly. To be honest, sometimes I can't tell with her.
Jelly babies are good. Heck yeah. Gotta get some jelly babies up in here. Jelly baby stream. After all, Isabella has always been the kind to hold a smile, even when things have taken a turn for the worse. 5 years, and one will think it's enough time to know a person. But when you consider it, come to think of it, all these years, I've never, not even once, seen her cry. Not over a trivial matter, or even when things are tough.
Okay, you can go to her. I'll just show you my drawing next time.
Alright, until next time, I feel like this drawing is probably not a normal drawing, considering this game.
Thank you. Remind me to buy you a huge glass of parfait, alright?
Or a huge glass of jelly babies!
No, I'll get a stomachache. Takako says so. A small one is okay.
I'll remember that. Say hi to your friend for me.
I will. I'm sure she'd love to meet you too. See you, Miss Pink.
I'll see you later, Kylie.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down.
She doesn't look back or wait for any sort of goodbye from me. With a song and an extra spring in her step, she bounds across the corridor with as much spirit only a child her age can have. As if the conversation has never taken any downhill turn for her at all. As if there isn't a single thing to worry about in the world. Not long after, she disappears behind a door, leaving behind strains of an old, familiar rhyme lingering in the air. Carefree. Unbidden. Untroubled moments like this, I envy her. And as I resume my hurried pace, a tiny whisper at the back of my mind wishes the same can be said of myself and my own worries. This conversation is really taken forever, given that she's supposed to be responding to an emergency. Yeah, this like 30 to 40 minute drive to Anselm Village is going to be like an hour and a half now because we talked to Kylie for a long time. Luxborn may be a small city, excuse me, but it's no stranger to hellish rush hour traffic. But surprisingly, getting out of the city today proves more of a breeze than a hassle. Perhaps we can make a quick stop at Zarbucks for some coffee. A relief considering how none of my calls to Isabella have made it through. Either the reception's really bad over there, it is, or she's ignoring them on purpose. Both does nothing to ease the disquiet in me. The rest of my drive passes without much incident as soon as I'm out of the busy streets. In less than 30 minutes, the mansion looms ahead of me. For all the fuss Isabella made about the house, it remains a thing of beauty. Unlike Luxbourne, the estate and the nearby Anselm village stand as its complete opposite, living and breathing the songs of the old, whispers of a once booming haven lingering in the air. Contemporary conveniences aside, it's a place I'm glad modernization hasn't wholly touched.
It's just a shame the locals know more of the silly hearsay than the history itself. If I could only knock some sense into these people!
Sadly, complaining is all I can afford to do. As much as I want to give them a piece of my mind, it isn't why I'm here. I don't think these rich types will appreciate getting a lecture from me either. I have as much business with them as they have with me. With a heavy sigh, I give myself one last second to take in the scenery before heading up to the main entrance. Most of the guests have already headed out. Though some still linger, it's mainly just to take photos of the house's facade or its various rooms. I pause for a moment, scanning the small crowd gathered at the foyer, looking for any sign of that familiar ponytail among the sea of hats and heads.
No sign of her.
No sign of the other staff or Miss Cooper either. I can certainly look for Isabella on my own, but in a place this big? I'd be lucky if I didn't end up lost, or find her before we need to meet with Zachary and Ash tonight. Sighing, I reach for my mobile and redial her number, the gesture familiar now, after so many attempts earlier. If she doesn't answer, I can still try contacting Miss Cooper. I just hope the network reception will cooperate this time. This side of the county has never been popular with the tech-savvy, after all. To my relief, it only took 3 unsuccessful tries. At the 4th, right as it's about to switch to another intercept message, the line finally rings. Silence follows while I wait for her to pick up, the ringing going far too long for my tastes. By now, most of the visitors have already cleared out. All I have for company are the faint murmurs and an eerie calmness left in their wake. A sudden hush settles and gives way to noises louder than they're ever meant to be. Doors creaking and slamming shut in some distant part of the mansion, floorboards groaning under the sheer weight of the house's history. In the now empty hall, they all reverberate with special clarity against the walls. Like this, those old stories seem to almost have a ring of truth to it. I don't get to stray far into that ugly line of thought, however. Not a second later, a click sounds from the other end.
Hello? Isabella? Miss Cooper called earlier and...
I heard it before I read the sign and thought it was Zarbucks, which I assumed to be the Soviet version. Maybe. Help me.
Isabella? Belle? Are you alright?
Without any warning, the call gets cut off. Busy notes blare sharply against the heavy silence. But above the noise cutting through the mute air remains the faint cries of a woman. From beyond the foyer, my hand falls to my side as I cast a wary look around, waiting for someone to come running. Surely I can't be the only one here hearing this. There must still be some staff hanging around, checking things out. But no one does. Not even when her sobs turn more frantic and anguished. At Zarbuck's, Coffee orders you. That's right. Oh, there I go again, scrolling the mouse wheel up. Whee!
Excuse me? Hello? Who's there? Isabella? Isabella? Is that you? ...
No answer. Growing anxious, I amble over to where her cries come from, each step slow and cautious, towards a door on the other side of the room. While I'm far from someone who readily gives in to fear or stories lacking factual basis, the vague, restless feeling I have earlier immediately returns to me. And despite myself, my heart begins to race and my breathing quickens.
Belle? Belle, it's me. Miss Cooper called. Is everything okay?
Abruptly, all of it stops. My whole body tenses, mouth dragging in a ragged breath, ears straining for any other sound yet to come from the other side. But nothing follows. Instead, the quiet only lends itself to the heavy tension in the air, as if every small movement will disturb the fragile stillness hanging in the room. I wait for another second. Then, with a caution, I reach for the knob. My fingers barely graze the brass handle when a hand falls on my shoulder.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Ma'am?
I guess it's someone alive.
I am so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you.
Hey, it's Rose.
It's...
Still reeling, my gaze shifts back to the door, as if any second now the cries will start again and whoever's inside will burst out of the room. But I don't get to dwell on these. The woman's worried voice breaks through the haze in my mind again, oddly soothing in the thick of my unease. Even if the concerned look comes from a total stranger, finally being in the company of someone else is somehow comforting.
Ma'am? Are you okay?
She doesn't sound great. It's Isabella.
Oh, no, I'm fine. This is probably just some cold.
Do you need to sit down?
No need.
Do you need to perhaps self-quarantine in the attic, in the West Wing, the haunted attic, or perhaps the wine cellar? Yes, let's quarantine you to the wine cellar.
I'm actually looking for a friend.
I wave the mobile in front of her like the gesture alone explains everything. Vaguely, I note my tight grip on it and quickly slip it into my pocket before she notices. She doesn't need to know.
Well, I'm not really sure if your friend would still be here. We're actually about to close the open house in a few minutes, ma'am.
No worries. She's not a guest here. She works for Briar Realty. Miss Cooper called me earlier. In fact, I'm also looking for her.
Recognition flashes in her eyes, and her worried expression dissolves into a smile at once. It's all I need to know that I don't have to look elsewhere or venture deeper into the mansion on my own. In some way, I'm not too keen on the latter right now.
Oh, Miss Rebecca Gales, is it?
Yes. Sorry if I'm a bit late.
It's not a problem. I was busy with the open house and a few clients anyway. It's actually a good thing you came when you did. Let's see. Isabella should be here somewhere. I told her to stay put earlier. That girl never listens.
Rose? Rosie? May I have a minute? There's just this one little thing before we go.
Miss Cooper's head immediately snaps up at the voice. In a blink, a different kind of smile spreads on her face. A smile, still, friendly even, but the kind given mainly for the sake of pleasing other people, rather than making friends.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there in a few.
It's an impressive thing, to say the least. That level of professionalism. I suppose working years in this kind of business trains you enough to be able to pull that off without batting an eye. It certainly didn't seem to have rubbed off on Isabella, though.
Sorry, could you give me a second? I have to take care of this.
Don't worry about it. I understand. I can wait a few more minutes.
She doesn't need to know I'm holding my phone really tight. Sorry I'm late. We were talking to a blue-haired child for about 45 minutes.
Clients, right?
You won't hear anything from me. Priorities, you know? But if you want, you can stay at the parlor in the meantime. I think we have a few refreshments left.
No, thank you. I'm going out with a few friends after this. Isabella's supposed to join us too. But that depends on how she's doing, of course.
All right, this won't be long, I promise.
She throws me an apologetic look before sauntering over to the small group gathered at the entrance. A couple? Or siblings? And another woman, probably their secretary. Well, we have Luke Wright, Hannah Wright, Rose, of course, and Marianne McCullough, who in the future is currently trapped underneath the mansion, in some kind of dungeon area. Either way, they look no different from the other guests. All three of them are primly dressed, albeit in a manner significantly simpler than the others. No frills, no extravagance of any form. But their gestures and movements alone speak volumes of their ingrained lifestyle. In their presence, I do what I can to appear inconspicuous on my side of the foyer. Maybe accepting Miss Cooper's offer would have been a much better choice than standing around awkwardly and gaping at them. All while also attempting my best not to listen in on their conversation. Although that one proves more difficult with how enthusiastic the blonde woman is. Her voice easily echoes through the walls, with only the five of us here. Pretty soon, I find myself being drawn into their talk without meaning to.
Tomorrow? First thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, ma'am.
The mundane talk isn't what catches my attention, however.
Very well. We'll have our lawyers prepare everything as soon as possible. Let's make this whole thing easier for everyone, shall we? Just let me know if there's anything you need from me. You know how to contact me, yes?
Got your mobile number saved here already.
Good. It's just a matter of time, then.
It's a brief moment. A fleeting shift of my eye.
Monday for us, Marianne.
As long as you're positive, we won't be having any problems by that time. You can count on my team.
You worry too much. Let me handle those things.
Now we're talking to a very posh, green-haired lady.
Do be thrilled, though. I imagine it's not every day you get projects like this,
Yeah, I suppose you can tell this is both a video game and especially a visual novel, because how many, quote, professionals have green hair? Or even kids, like little kids with blue hair? Not something I think a lot of us come across very often. And the instant I turn my gaze on him, I see it.
Oh, I'm certain Mint's ecstatic, Buttercup. Aren't you, Marianne? You know, we could all celebrate this with a few drinks. Why don't we? In fact, there's this really excellent Irish pub I visited a few days ago.
Looming, hovering over his shoulders, drawn to him like a moth to a flame, a dark blur. No, A shadow?
I think I'll pass on that, sir. I have more important matters to attend to.
Nada, love, she's busy.
What a shame. You never let me do anything fun.
But as I try to make sense of it, a heavy feeling descends over my whole body. It happens without warning, forcing me to close my eyes. The sensation creeps to every part of me, crawling under my skin and draining me, little by little, of any strength. Before I know it, my hand is gripping the nearby door for support. The sudden nausea drowns out their voices and what little sound there is, all except for the whispers and laughters, judging, mocking, taunting. Muffled, inaudible words bearing down on me like a death sentence. They wrap around my neck and limbs, binds tightening with every syllable, every utterance. And with each draw of breath I take, they drag me down slowly, almost painfully, into a bottomless abyss. On. And on. And on. Till the sounds turn into mere, distant echoes. Until suddenly, it shatters.
Well, what are we waiting for? Are we done here?
His voice rips through the fog like a sharp blade, and my eyes snap open. When I look to them again, it's gone.
You can head back to the car first if you want, Luke.
Let's see, not liking this guy's tone. Why did he say drinks as if he meant something else, like poison? Oh, he meant drinks in a snarky way because, the day before was when Marianne and him met at the bar not knowing each other, and they almost slept together. I say almost because I chose, while playing as Marianne, not to do so. Based on my knowledge of the game and what we've seen of him throughout so far. But yeah, we're back in the past again. So yeah, she's awkwardly taking this job, having almost slept with this idiot who's married to her. And old Rose here isn't long for the world anyways. She's going to be dead pretty soon.
I hope that settles everything, Rose. I don't know what Isabel's problem is, but please make sure she doesn't hurt herself.
Oh, 'cause Mariana's there, of course. Yep, exactly. He just can't let anything go. He's got to be that kind of guy.
Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Likewise, ma'am.
No shadows or dark clouds. Only amicable smiles and cordial handshakes, the usual pleasantries, as Miss Cooper leads them out the mansion like a graceful host. None of the group seems to have noticed it. And even as I force my breathing to calm down, keep my eyes trained on their backs, and wait for something to happen, it doesn't come back. She returns a moment later. Gently, she closes the great doors behind her, but there's a smile on her lips and an extra skip in her step when she walks back to me. Whatever she was discussing with the group had put her in a good mood. Even she appears to have not observed anything odd. Was I just seeing things?
Glad that was over. It's been a long day. I thought for sure we were going to... Hey, are you sure you're doing okay? You look a bit green.
It's all good. I'm actually still recovering from a cold. Weather's been crazy lately.
That must be it. The weather, the stupid cold, and the friendly warnings I'm too stubborn to listen to. As much as I hate to admit it, Isabella's right. I was, and still am, a little feverish when she visited me at the school this morning. The medicine helped, of course, but only some. Although it's not like I can't function, I did get better after lunch, and I was able to go through my schedule like the usual. Now I'm not so sure. However, I can't keep acting like I've seen some sort of apparition when it's anything but. I simply must have listened too many times to Isabella last week. My fever-muddled mind has started to confuse things. If this doesn't let up, I just need another visit to my doctor, plain and simple. Though I do hope it won't get any worse. We did promise to watch Zachary's film together.
I know what you mean. I've been complaining to Isabel. It doesn't seem to affect her much, though. Must be because she grew up in the tropics. Anyway, shall we? She's probably hanging out with the rest of the catering staff.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised she's there. She eats like 10 hungry men when she isn't feeling well. Lead the way.
With a small nod, she gestures for me to follow. I do so without much thought, finally putting everything in the back of my mind. ... The entire visit took a whole 24 minutes, and my trip to the mansion, as it turns out, is a useless endeavor in itself. Isabella's no longer there, left shortly before I arrived. Oh yeah, that's right, we didn't go with... Who did we go with? I don't remember who we ended up leaving when we played as Isabella. Oh, it was Ash. That's right. Ash actually came to the open house. Yeah, we ended up leaving with Ash. Or at least that's what the few staff who saw her assumed. Oh my gosh. This is annoying. This is annoying. Just scroll up, and this happens. So annoying. None of them knew where she went, but I can take a few guesses. There are only a number of places in Luxborn she frequents, and well, she's never been the complex kind. It doesn't really take a genius to figure it out. You know, playing as so many other people, everybody has some, negative things to say about Isabella. I actually like Isabella quite a bit as a character. But, everybody's like, oh, she's like a kid, she's a baby, wah, wah, wah. Geez, you guys are supposed to be friends with her? I'm still recovering from a cold. Pre-2020 game alert. Oh, for sure. For sure. Must be because she grew up in the tropics. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She could have at least waited for Miss Cooper. It would have saved her having to pay the cab's fare twice today.
And right after she was told to stay put! I mean, who does that?
Isabella does that.
Oh, sod off! You don't own the road!
In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me were a string of apologies for my trouble, and a request to let her know when I find Isabella. The whole affair didn't even last long. I probably spent more time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm weaving my way back to downtown Luxborn, worried sick, and on top of that, maybe a little annoyed. Whether at the unexpected turn of events or at Isabella herself, I'd rather not think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's film. Besides, I'm perfectly sure that's where I'll find her. Yes. Oh, okay, so, yeah, we played through, the film section, as Isabella at the very beginning of the game, and everybody was having conversations with Isabella about the chain letter and the ghostly stuff, and nobody was believing her, and Rebecca was quietly sitting to herself, not involved. So I wonder if we'll get her internal thoughts, what she's thinking. But now we know she had a little bit of a spooky encounter herself. Let's see. Remember when Isabella told her friends she had the sale, and they were like, what? How on earth did you sell a house? And they were her friends. Yeah, exactly. How did you sell a house, real estate agent? You're too much of a baby. The small avenue where it's located has been closed off early from any passing traffic to make way for avid moviegoers who are sure to crowd the venue. I have to park almost a street away and walk the remaining distance because of it. Looking for them has taken a while in a crowd this big, but I eventually spot them near the entrance. Thanks to Zachary, mostly. And like I've surmised, Isabella's with them. There she is.
I knew it.
Wasting no time, I march over to their little group. Words filled with concern tumble out of my mouth before I can stop myself.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness! Becca, you're just in time.
An odd expression crosses her face as I hold it with both hands, but I ignore it in favor of getting a good look at her, forcing her to keep still and fix her gaze at me.
Becca, you're squishing my face. How are you? Are you all right? Why wouldn't I be?
There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confused frown and my question, she looks pretty much like how she would any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things with her at first glance. The last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I hadn't checked on her then, she probably would have died on her bed with the rest of us none the wiser. It's one thing we laugh about now, but moments like those also teaches you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to constantly worry about her. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely baseless.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes, and gently as she can, Isabella pushes my hands away. Yet even before she says anything, I already have a hunch how this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today. That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as I've imagined. Whoop! She dodges my hand when I reach for the back of her head, intending to check the said injury myself. Even makes a show of hiding behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry dissolves into a shameless game of tag. I like how Ash is just like... Yep, that's our Isabella. Shouting and chasing like none of us can be bothered to act like the full-grown adults we're all supposed to be. Including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabella, but Ash? Out of everyone? In fact, if that stupid smirk on his face tells me anything, he finds this whole mess amusing. Oh, for the love of...
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her.
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this, just you wait.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment's pause. My hand stills mid-air as my attention shifts to Ashton and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. He doesn't meet my eye. I don't think he's even aware of what he said. But the meaning in each syllable alone is clear. And they echo. They sting. They burn.
I'm sorry. Saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Of course. Of course. Why else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put after that little chat about money this morning? Something close to silence falls while I mull over their words. Both what's already been said and what's left unspoken. When I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamp out before they surface. Thoughts I hide the best I can in the deepest parts of my mind, locking it away for no one to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least. Good.
Yet, try as I might, the green-eyed monster easily rears its ugly head. Like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in a manner far too gentle, far too sincere, whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small, little thing. Despite what he says, despite his tone...
Look, you guys.
Oh. Ash, you're interrupting my internal monologue. For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking, like he often tells me, or maybe there really is something there. But in his short display of impatience, I know the whole of it is just for show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake it is this time, though. Okay, sentence. For him? For Zachary? For her? Or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens, then snaps shut, almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. I can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty, so many things I can use to reason and get him to agree. But because he speaks with so much certainty, with much reassurance, it feels like there isn't even a choice. All I can give is a long, deep breath and a reluctant nod in the face of it. Before I can get a grip of myself and my own weakness, the mood immediately shifts and I'm being tackled into a hug.
Thanks, Becca. It's always been you with him, isn't it? Did you say something? Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
A lie, obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile, a tiny effort to keep things as they are, or so I tell myself. Little do I know, this is merely a preamble. ... It starts out quietly and without fanfare, amidst friendly jibes and harmless teasing, with a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. One that looks suspiciously like a cheap Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. Let's see, I gotta go. I have some chores to do before my weekend is over. Sunday evening here. Catch you later. Hope there's no translations required from the rest of the night. Oh, hopefully not. Hopefully no more weird words that I do not know. But yeah, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, Nicola. Always a pleasure. Enjoy those chores. Sunday evening there. I guess it's technically Sunday morning here. But yeah, have a good night. Or, oh yeah, it's evening, so yeah, have a good night. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Oh boy, and here's a word. Crivens? Crivens? Even my students wouldn't fall for this.
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
She doesn't give me the time to regret nor think over my choice of words. From there, it escalates, grows into an argument too petty, even for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up.
There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away.
I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all of this, and however much my own has already been frayed earlier, there's no one else. Who else here can deal with someone selfishly acting like a kid? Like every other time, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts us off. Slams the door right on our faces while my own temper flares before I can stop it. Although it falters briefly at the hard expression on her when she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold on to it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression and balled fists, throwing a tantrum is simply unacceptable. For a grown woman at that. Words from the tip of my tongue ready. But before I can open my mouth and let it all out, her feelings and mistakes be damned, Zachary raises a voice of his own.
Guys!
A warning underneath the warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stop and look to him, and even my own anger subsides a little at his tone.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her. And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level head over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say, and when he lets it fall, they only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
And as careful as he is with his tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be here for him, to give what little support we can give, yet here he is, trying to keep the three stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Later, we can and will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it. And at the moment, my anger and whatever reprimands it carries no longer matter. Yes, there is always a proper time and place to discuss cursed chain letters and evil, vengeful ghost ladies. Beside me, Ashton appears to have already caught on. The lines of his shoulders eased to something much more relaxed, his expression back to its usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, her hands clasping the straps of her bag like a lifeline, eyes strained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an undeniable hurt. But she's never been good at hiding what she thinks. Always the open book, always the one to wear her heart out in the open. And when she looks up, her answer is also simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Her lips are curled up in a smile, though lacking both its usual brightness and glee, it's a smile, nonetheless. Let's see. Zach didn't necessarily sound like the voice of reason when we were playing through his chapter, but now... well, I guess he was the voice of reason this early on. He hasn't had his own ghost encounters as of yet. That's a little bit in the future for him. Although, yeah, he's still haunted by the death of his parents, though, for sure. I've seen it countless times. It's the very same one she would have shown when she has no other choice, or simply when things get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it still catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run, to balk at the first sign of losing this time. I won't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us, less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet here she is, holding herself and coping with it like how she would with matters concerning her family. Outside of that, to me, she has always been this childish, naive girl, and watching the opposite play out right now, somehow I find it difficult to wrap my head around it.
All right, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
But I envy her.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one!
Aw, don't cry.
Stop it!
I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer, the shine in her eyes when she looks at the world, how everything seems to simply fall back to a pleasant, lively rhythm with her around, how easily and tightly she fits into our lives, even without bonds only long years could forge, like a lost piece of a puzzle despite her jagged edges. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton, of all people, can be drawn to her.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
That too! If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
I make no effort keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep, linger stiffly in the air as I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teasing remarks, and Ashton's tender, affectionate smiles. All before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, is what I'd often tell myself. Yet the way my heart rends at just the sight of them hurts. And like a coward, I walk away from all of it, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me from these thoughts. Because like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Alright, I guess we're not going to relive the movie scene, so it's after the movie scene from the beginning of the game. Dusk has already given way to night when we leave the film fest. Unfortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood like I'm hoping, neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy, too loud. Too many people taking what little space the sidewalk offers. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those they barely know, let alone care about. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have minded the crowd nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to lighten up.
See you guys some other time.
Yeah, see ya!
Not even to return the smiles Ashton and Zachary give us when we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call, or earlier than that, maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Bloody hell, it could have been because of that sodding letter, for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I want is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then maybe this dull throbbing at the side of my head won't turn into a full-blown headache, too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming. ...
Isabella. I don't have time for you.
But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled? All those months he worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it. Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want to...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spot my car, I immediately make a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt at starting a conversation, just so we'll all have something to fill the dead air, to replace the strained atmosphere we've somehow walked into. One thing, the very thing, I'm not too keen to deal with at present. Behind me, Isabella also changes her pace to match mine, her soft strides growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'll suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort, but there are definitely times when she can be the least coordinated person on the planet.
Becca, hey! Oh no. Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry. They're not really completely unfounded once you've already grown familiar with her habits, though right now this is also at the very end of the list of things I want to think about. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice as she calls after me sounds nothing more than background noise to my ears now.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
Yes, it's Friday. We had to go to bed early.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella. If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier. Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school? Do you want to talk about it?
A long pause follows, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the same, my hand stops short of unlocking my car, and my grip on the handle tightens. I can feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answers I'd give. She's the same as Zachary. They're bad liars. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on, surprisingly. This time, her tone is quieter, more tentative than usual.
Was it because of the letter?
It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk, yet something in how she says it irks me.
If it is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
Wherever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not at this minute, preferably never. Especially when there are already a million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head. Sometimes my patience can only be tried for so long. Alright, we got a decision right here. However, I think I'm going to save the game and probably end for the night. A little bit of a shorter session than usual, although I did get started about an hour late because I took an unexpected nap on the couch that went a little longer than I was planning. And then you had a little beginning problems with the stream, but hey, at least this session we got a good 3 hours and 10 minutes in. We made some progress. We played through the rest of Marianne's chapter, which is definitely some sad stuff. Continuing the sad stuff. She's still technically alive, and now we're playing through as Rebecca. So far, the meanest of the friends. But yeah, we're continuing to make progress. We're noticing some names, some connections. Something with that video footage in Marianne's chapter with those college kids. The name Rowan came up, and that is the older brother of Kylie, and also T.O. Luke came up. So there's something going on. Something is going on. Eventually we'll get there, but being a visual novel, we gotta stretch these things out for many, many hours, I guess. Let's see, gotta factor unexpected couch naps into the whole deal. It was a lot of fun, thanks. No problem. It's really neat to see the story from a bunch of different perspectives. Yeah, I do like that. And it is taking into account perspectives that we played through originally. We've had decisions like at the beginning of the game, outside of the theater, we had the option as Isabella to stay for the movie, or to just go home after her ghostly encounter, and we decided to stay for the movie. So it would be interesting to see how that scene would have played out without Isabella even there. And then, of course, what happened to Isabella if she, did leave instead of, staying for the movie. But yeah, that'll be it for tonight. I should be back tomorrow, barring any further unexpected naps on the couch. Especially if they, man, when I woke up from this one, my first thought was like, oh my god, is it like the morning? Did I just sleep through the rest of the night? But no, it wasn't that long of a nap, but stretched out a little longer than I wanted. But hey, all good. So yes, until next time, probably tomorrow evening, we'll be back with more of the letter, and oh, 41 messages were deleted by. Oh, I don't know what you were trying to say, Dog Nozzle. What were you thinking? Stop spamming symbols. Lay off, Nightbot. I might have to figure out how to adjust that Nightbot thing. I'm sure it was fine. Between that bot thing and then just Twitch itself, it likes to just block all kinds of stuff that don't even need to be blocked. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. You have a good night too, Dog Nozzle. And yeah, thanks everybody who stopped in to check out the stream today, and who may be watching in the future. And until next time, have a good night, everybody.